A new tornado warning that just got issued includes parts of Meeker, Stearns, and Wright County. This is just north of Litchfield, just north of Highway 24, and you can kind of see the hook right there on the radar. So I'm going to go over a couple different things here. Let's first put a track on where this storm is going off to the northwest, and this is going to be arriving in Watkins by 355, Kimball by 359. So these are the places you need to be in your tornado safe place, especially just north of Litchfield, north of Kingston there, approaching Highway 15. Let me take all of that off the map there and switch over to velocity. And meteorologist Chris Reese and I were just talking about this about 2 minutes ago, saying, when are they going to issue the warning? There it is. Here's the rotation. We have winds going toward the radar, wind going away from the radar. There's the spin that you're seeing just north of the Litchfield area. Again, Litchfield technically is in this warning, but the area of rotation is to your north. So if you are in the city of Litchfield, you're fine. North of Litchfield, just to the east of Highway 22, that's where we have this radar rotation. And you can see on the latest scan, this isn't the tightest rotation that we can ever see with these storms, but remember, these storms are moving into an environment where they could spin up very, very quickly. So that's why the National Weather Service has issued this tornado warning. Let's put that information back up there. It includes Meeker, Stearns, and Wright County until 4:15. And in addition to that, just south of the Watkins area, you see that, that brighter purple there on the radar. That's likely where we're seeing hail up to about 1.25 inches size there. So in addition to the tornado potential as we go through this evening, there's also going to be the potential for some damaging winds and some very large hail. Now across parts of southwestern Minnesota, we also have some active severe weather, and you can see down to our south and west around New Ulm, Hanska, St. James, there are active thunderstorm warnings. Do we have Chris Reese's mic open and the Weather 2 source there, or should I keep this on my own? Need some guidance from the booth.
Keep going for a second.
Yeah, okay. So across southwest Minnesota, this is also where we're tracking a line of severe thunderstorms that continues to move off to the east. This has had little areas of rotation with it before, but as of right now, this is mainly going to be wind-producing storms across southeastern Minnesota, southwestern Minnesota. And I also want to mention, just in the last 10 minutes or so, the Twin Cities metro area, western Wisconsin, has been put under a tornado watch until 11 o'clock. That white line, anything west of that white line, the tornado watch goes until 8 o'clock. Anything east of that white line, it goes until 11. Now, let's review. Remember, a watch means we have the conditions, we have the ingredients for storms that could produce tornadoes. When a warning is issued, that means we have those ingredients coming together in the right way, that we have either an imminent tornado or one's been observed in person or on radar. So the fact that we are under a tornado watch in the Twin Cities, this is what we've been talking about the last couple of days. Now's the time to pay attention. Now's the time to find ways to get weather warnings. We're going to be here on Channel 5 updating you all the way through the afternoon and evening. You can use the KSTP mobile app, KSTP.com as well to stay up to date with the latest. But remember, we do have that tornado warning. If I go back here, that tornado warning that just got issued for parts of Meeker, Stearns, and it does clip the absolute northwestern fringe. You can see that's why Wright County is included in this storm. It is just northwest of Annandale, but the rotation right now is north of Litchfield, south of Watkins. If I switch over to the radar wind speeds, you can see that we still have that red and green closer together. So there is some spin in this storm, and we will have the potential to see possible tornadoes as this moves just south of Watkins, just north of Annandale. If you're between Annandale and St. Cloud, you need to be in your tornado safe spot right now. Just err on the side of caution with the storm as it pushes off to the north and east as we go through the afternoon. Some information on this warning one more time. This is for Meeker and Stearns County. It does technically include a little sliver of Wright County, but this is mainly northern Meeker, southeastern Stearns County until 4:15, and that rotation is just south of the Watkins area. I'll put a track on this one more time before I send it over to meteorologist Chris Reese, but these are the cities that need to be in your tornado safe spot as we go through the next half hour. Kimball by 356, so you have about 10 minutes there. St. Augusta, the I-94 corridor, just to the south of St. Cloud, just to the north of Annandale. Storm's going to arrive by about 4:10. So remember, lowest floor of whatever building you're in. If you have a basement, awesome. Stay away from windows. Get into a small interior room. You want to put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Again, that's specifically in Kimball and St. Augusta. Now, Chris Reese, there are also storms in southwest Minnesota. What are you seeing down there as we go through this afternoon?
Yeah, Matt, we've of course been tracking multiple different storms, not just that particular one, but I did just get a brand new severe thunderstorm warning now. This is for Blue Earth, Brown, Nicollet, and Wanawon counties. It's going to go until 4:30. So here's that thunderstorm. Again, it is severe, winds up to 60 miles per hour, 1-inch hail, and I do want to keep an eye on this area just west of Highway 15 here in New Ulm. Just seeing a little notch there, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it in the meantime. Overall, the primary concern with this particular thunderstorm is mainly wind. Let me pull up the velocity here, and what you'll see is that we don't have a lot of rotation, but those brighter greens, those are some of your stronger wind gusts that are within this thunderstorm warning as we speak, and those will continue to push toward the north and east as well. And I am going to switch right back on over to radar here so we can see that severe thunderstorm warning, and then I'm going to loop it over the last hour. You see that kind of moving toward the east and the north and east. With that, let's put a tracker on this as it continues to move toward the north and east at about 50 miles per hour here. We're looking at arrival times in Cortland at 3:51, Medalia 3:55. That's in the next couple of minutes here. Nicollet by 4, Lake Crystal at 4:05, Belgrade at 4:10, 4:16 for Mankato. Cleveland at 4:20, Eagle Lake at 4:23, 4:28 in Mapleton, and then 4:36 in Janesville, Minnesota here. So again, this is just a severe thunderstorm warning. That tornado warned storm is to the north. And one of the things I want to do really quickly, I want to clear out everything, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to zoom out. Let's kind of reset and give you that big picture look here. So here's your statewide view. And we've got a couple different areas that we're watching. Of course, the tornado warning that Matt just talked about, that's north of this line, north of Litchfield, and then that severe thunderstorm warning to the south that's getting ready to move toward Mankato. Overall, this line has started to develop over the last couple of hours. This is that round 2 that we've been talking about for the last couple of days, getting ready to move in. And I think at this point, we're only at the start here of perhaps multiple warnings coming out over the course of time. The faster this congeals into a big line, the more that we are dealing with a wind threat. But if we see this more isolated look to these storms, we end up with more of a tornado threat. And one of the things I just want to rehash, especially if you are under that tornado warning, that's simply the tornado safety where to go. We always talk about being in that lowest level of your home, away from windows. Not everyone has a basement, so if you don't have a basement, those interior rooms are going to be the best spot. That includes closets, hallways, bathrooms, but stairwells, especially underneath stairwells headed down to the basement, those are some of the safest places to be. Houses are built to really have the core of that strength right underneath that stairwell. That way, if a tornado were to hit the house and it were to come down, that would be one of the safest spots for you. So again, back to that tornado warning. I know when it comes to multiple warnings, you kind of have to treat it like a bit of a triage, like an emergency room. And a tornado warning, that's going to take precedence. We're watching those severe thunderstorm warnings too. But Matt, I do want to take a moment and get back to you here in a moment so we can, again, refresh people on this tornado warning that we do have just north of Litchfield.
Exactly, Chris. Again, this tornado warning is in effect for mainly, right now, I'm going to say southeastern Stearns County. It's right on that Meeker-Stearns County line until 4:15. This is going to go just to the northwest of Annandale. So if you're in Annandale, because this technically does include extreme northwestern Wright County, you might be hearing sirens go off. And if you want to err on the side of caution, that's just fine. I'm never going to fault you for going down to the basement, but I believe this rotation is mainly over about Watkins right now. So if I zoom in here, you can really start to see where we have this hook. Just south of Watkins, north of the Kingston area, that's where this storm is trying to hook around just a little bit. You have the air trying to rotate on the backside of this thunderstorm. We don't have that classic very well-defined hook like we had earlier. That's probably why the National Weather Service issued the tornado warning. But if I switch over to the radar wind speeds, this is winds in the green going toward the radar in Chanhassen, the red going away. So we have that rotation there just south of Watkins. If you live near the intersection of Highway 55 and Highway 15 in southeastern Stearns County, you got to be in your tornado safe spot right now. This is going to continue to head off to the north and west, and this is going to kind of ebb and flow here as we go through the next probably 15 minutes or so. And one thing Chris mentioned, those storms in southwest Minnesota, they're forming into a line. But look how we have these individual storms west of the Twin Cities. That's how we get the individual tornado spin-ups. The one right now is the tornado warning for especially southeastern Stearns County. But even towards St. Cloud, the structure isn't the best. This kind of looks like a blob of thunderstorms on radar. But remember, there's a lot of ingredients coming together that these could spin up very quickly. Even down to the southwest of this storm, southwest of the Litchfield area, just to the west of Hutchinson, we do have that potential that as we go through the next couple of hours, these storms get a little more organized and they start to rotate a bit more. Remember in the Twin Cities, we're starting to see a little bit of sun peek out. We've been cloudy all day, but sun isn't going to matter too much when we have all these other ingredients that can produce not only severe storms, but the potential for tornadoes. And the National Weather Service, especially south of the Twin Cities, is highlighting the potential for long-lived tornadoes that stay on the ground for several miles. So that's the type of environment that we are going to be dealing with as we go through this afternoon and evening. We're still cutting in here for this tornado warning that's just south of the Watkins area. That's southeastern Stearns County, extreme northern Meeker County. This goes until 4:15. We've yet to hear of any reports on this. In that last radar scan, we can see just a little more of a hook there south of Watkins. So remember, if you are between Watkins and Annandale, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. Chris, how are those storms looking across southwestern Minnesota?
Well, what I want to do, Matt, really quickly is talk about this tornado warning storm that we're on as well with the hail potential. One of the things we've been talking about with these storms has been the potential for hail today as well. Over the last half hour, I've watched what we call a hail core begin to grow in size. It's kind of waxed and waned a little bit, but we are looking at some severe hail within this storm. That hail core right now just south of Watkins and just southwest of Kimball. So let me stop the motion here. The latest scan showing that hail core starting to grow just a little bit. So again, if you are right along Highway 55 west of Kimball and just east of Watkins, this is getting ready to move through. So it's about to start hailing there pretty much any moment now. And that's going to continue moving toward the north and east towards St. Augusta. So I'm going to put a tracker on this as that continues to move toward the north and east over about the next, we'll call it half hour. That's going to move towards St. Augusta. Anyone who is right along, one second there, let me clear that. Anyone who is right along highway, which highway is this? Highway 10 and 94, St. Augusta up toward Haven. One of the things we do have to watch with that particular storm is the potential for some large hail as well. Of course, we've been keeping an eye on not just the tornado risk today, but of course the hail risk. And one of the other things I want to do, let me clear that tracker for us. I want to go to those thunderstorms down south and just look at what type of hail are we dealing with there. So I'm going to zoom out these storms south or west of the metro. If you're looking for the metro, you kind of see that on the right side of your screen there. Those other storms pretty much along and east of a line from Sleepy Eye and New Ulm down towards St. James. There is hail within those storms. That hail is not as impressive, although it's starting to pick up a little bit right here southwest of I-90, moving towards 71 in Jackson. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure the Weather Service watching it too. But the hail and the wind, that's what's driving these southern severe thunderstorms at the moment. Of course, we've been keeping a very close eye on those southern severe thunderstorms pretty much all day. Multiple warnings there. And I mean, it's a lot in terms of the warnings trying to pop up on screen. All of that's going to continue to move toward the south and east. I'm going to take a moment. I want to clear the warnings off just so you can see the storm better. Here it is from, again, New Ulm to St. James all the way back towards Windham. This is pretty much moving due east at about 55 miles per hour here. So we're going to take the tracker. We're going to push this farther toward the east. and that's going to continue to move toward Truman as we come up on the top of the hour here at 4 o'clock. Lake Crystal at 4:05, Fairmont at 4:11. This could clip parts of Mankato here at about 4:16, Eagle Lake at 4:23, Mapleton at 4:26. If it holds together, it'll be at Blue Earth by 4:34, Waterville by 4:40, Wells at 4:47, and then Waseca getting closer to 4:48. So again, these are the severe thunderstorms that we are tracking mainly to our south. We still have that tornado warning that we have been tracking to the north as well. And we do, of course, really want to heed that. The environment today is one that's really capable of producing tornadoes. Some of these other areas of isolated storms we have to keep a close eye on. But for Meeker, Stearns, Wright County are under a tornado warning until 4:15. I'm watching the hail size on this warning, Matt, because even now that hail size is starting to grow, now approaching 2 inches in diameter. So right now that hail size is about the size of golf balls. That's what the National Weather Service is saying. And I'm looking to see if we've gotten any reports yet. No reports yet. And if you're watching us, I don't want you to go out and try to get that, simply because what's most important for you is staying in your safe space right now. That's the most important thing. But Matt Surrey, take it away. What do you have for me?
Yeah, the rotations really increased with that storm just south of Kimball. And remember, when we talk about seeing this on the radar, we want bright red and bright green if we're talking about an area of strong rotation. That's exactly what we're seeing here south of Kimball, and this is the brightest it's been. And there's a lot of people in the National Weather Service chat. People are asking, hey, do we have any updates with this around Kimball? No updates yet, which is good. If we were seeing damage, if this was producing a tornado, yes, we'd be getting a lot of reports. However, as this moves toward Kimball, as it moves toward Highway 15, just west of South Haven, you have to be in your tornado safe spot, because this looks like it's organizing once again. Switching back over to classic radar, the classic radar look at that. Little hooks starting to develop right around Kimball. So it looks like the rear flank downdraft of this storm starting to kind of take over a little bit, tighten as we see that rotation increase as well. One of the other things we can do is somehow try to see if we're picking up any debris on this, a correlation coefficient. Remember, if it's red, that means the radar's hitting everything that's about the same size. There's a little bit of green there in Kimball, but it's definitely not something where it looks like it's picking up debris. But yeah, this is definitely our most significant rotation that we've seen so far with this storm in southeastern Stearns County. So again, if you are south of the St. Cloud area, if you're anywhere basically west of the Wright County line, not a lot of cities are popping up here, but there could be some places in between. You have to keep a close eye on the storm. I'll put another track on it as it moves off to the north and east. See if I can pick up any cities going to the end of this warning. Not picking up anything, so if it's moving through a less densely populated area, that is fantastic. That's exactly what we want to see. I was looking at reports here saying that they're seeing some weak rotation. That means they're probably seeing a weakly rotating wall cloud with this storm as it's over Kimball. But this is definitely the most organized it's looked since this warning was issued. Now remember, this warning goes until 4:15, so it continues here for the next 15 minutes. I'll take a look at the places it's passed. So if you are watching from northern Meeker County in the clear from this storm. We're not expecting anything else to come out of this. This is now mainly southeastern Stearns County, and it's going to be heading toward the Clearwater area. We've yet to hear of any reports of actual damage or an actual tornado or even funnel clouds from this storm. But the way that this is organized, this is definitely looking like we're going to see the potential there for at least some strong rotation. Do we have to hit this little reopen here on TCL, or can I keep going? All right, thank you. Wanted to double check that with someone up in the booth. So this tornado warning does continue. And zooming out here, just south of this one, you see these storms that are getting going south of Litchfield, just about the Hutchinson area. You might be hearing a couple rumbles of thunder. No severe weather there. All of this, the reason why we're cutting in here is especially because of the tornado warning that's in parts of Stearns County right now. This is southeastern Stearns County until 4:15. And just to reiterate, I also want to show this tornado watch. If you're watching us from the Twin Cities metro area, one of the reasons why we're kind of staying with this storm staying with this storm is because we are under a tornado watch now until 11 o'clock. That means conditions pardon me, conditions are favorable that we could see these storms rapidly produce tornadoes, and the conditions, especially down toward Faribault, Owatonna, and Rochester, these storms could produce some intense tornadoes as we go through this evening. So this looks like it could be the beginning of a very busy evening. That tornado warning there in southeastern Stearns County does continue. The latest radar velocity scan, again, we still have, it's exactly what you would expect from a tornado warned storm. The red and the green right next to each other just to the west of Kimball. Kimball, stay in your safe spot for now. Probably still a couple minutes away before you're in the all clear. Near South Haven, just north of South Haven, that's where we have that strong rotation right now in southeastern Stearns County for this tornado warning. So if you are in Stearns County and maybe towards St. Augusta and you hear sirens going off, this is staying to your south, but this is definitely something to watch as we go through the next probably half hour or so. Farther to the south in Wright County, even though you see how it clips just fractions of northwest Wright County, if they sounded the sirens for the entire county, this is why. This is the only active tornado warning that we have right now across southeastern Minnesota, southwestern Minnesota, the southern half of the state as this line of storms pushes through. There's the big picture. You can see we have one storm kind of north of St. Cloud on its own, one with that tornado warning in southeastern Stearns County, and then another one to watch here as it gets toward McLeod County there in the Hutchinson area. Anytime you have these individual storms, that's where you can get the rotations spin up. But even in this line of thunderstorms that's approaching Mankato, don't sleep on that. We could easily see some embedded tornadoes in this line as it continues to push to the east later on this evening. If you're watching us from the Twin Cities Metro, you can kind of see where the storms are organizing off to our west. So our window for storms in the Metro, probably between about 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. They'll move west to east right across the I-35 corridor as we go through dinner time, as we go into the early evening. And make sure you're staying with us for updates because we're going to be on top of this line of storms as it pushes across the Twin Cities Metro and into Wisconsin later this evening. The reason why we're doing this cut-in, once again, it is 4:03. We have a tornado warning in effect for southeastern Stearns County, extreme northwestern Wright County. This is mainly for Kimball, toward St. Augusta, Clearwater, right around I-94 is where we expect this rotation to move. The strongest rotation has been over Kimball over the last 5 minutes or so. That rotation continues. We still have that red and green couplet right there. So this storm is continuing to rotate. You can see the Weather Service trimming off the back end of it, officially taking Meeker County out of the tornado warning. But we'll likely see, I bet we're going to see another one extended here off to the northwest. It might include St. Cloud, depending on how wide they want to make this warning. But this rotation has kind of held together here over the last 10 minutes or so. So even on the other side of I-94, if you're south of St. Cloud toward Palmer, just to the northwest of Becker there, right along I-94, is where this rotation is going to be moving here over the next 20 minutes or so. Let's put a track on this as it continues to move off to the northwest. Again, this is a 20-minute track. Clearwater, rotation is going to be near you by 4:17. Clear Lake is going to be near you by 4:20. Now, Clear Lake technically isn't in this warning, but this rotation is held together pretty well here over the last 15 minutes. So we want to give you a heads up that if you want to take your tornado safety precautions right now near the Clear Lake area, now's the time to do it. Head down to the basement if you want to take the KSTP mobile app with you. You can follow along with our streaming coverage there. And even if you lose power, as long as you have a network signal, you'll still be able to stream the latest information as we go through the severe coverage this evening. New updates, rotation spotted by a spotter just west of St. Joseph, north of I-94. That is a new one with this storm. And I guess I can kind of see it, maybe a little bit of rotation there. Not really. That's the thing, you always have to take spotter accounts with a little bit of a grain of salt, because what they could be seeing some scud kind of flying around the lowering of the cloud base. And if it looks really ragged out there, yeah, it can look like a little bit of rotation. But right now, it's just near Kimball, just northwest of Annandale, where we have the tightest rotation that we're watching across the state right now. Again, we do have those storms across parts of southwestern Minnesota. That line, I'll take care of you real quick. Just move through New Ulm, heading toward Mankato, St. James, going through Jackson right now. Now, this line of storms has had a tornado warning with it once, just once. So it shows you that there is the potential to see at least a little bit of rotation in this line of storms. Mainly what we're seeing here are strong winds, and you can see the radar's picking up on 70-mile-an-hour winds there, just north of Fairmont, northwest of the Truman area. And that's the other thing we could see with this line of storms as it pushes east. Of course, embedded tornadoes are bad, but if we have wind gusts that are between 70 and 80 miles an hour, that can still do some significant damage. Chris, are you seeing anything else with these storms? I know I've been seeing you over there keeping a closer eye on these.
Just about to ask you to cut in really quickly, but yes, we are still looking at those winds that are starting to pick up and speed upwards of 70 miles per hour or so. I've been looking to see if I've seen any major hail with this particular line of storms. I'm not seeing any of that at the moment, but one of the things I want to do is get the track on here for you, because these storms are moving pretty much due east at about 45 to 50 miles per hour here. So I just wanted to give some of the folks who are going to be in the path of this storm a heads up in terms of what I'm tracking. Let me clean that up for you just a little bit. Lake Crystal, it's pretty much there. You've got about a minute before it moves in. North Mankato, it's about 10 minutes away from you. Core of Mankato should arrive by about 4:20. Eagle Lake at 4:54 for Waseca. Warsaw at 4:55, and then if this holds together, this could begin to clip Northfield by 5:05 as well. So I've been keeping a very close eye on this particular line of storms. And of course, as Matt pointed out, we have seen the strong winds with this line of storms as well. 70-mile-per-hour winds can do damage. We are talking about tree limbs coming down, but we're also talking damage to roofs, the siding. Maybe if you have anything loose out there, that could be blowing around as well. So if you are in the Mankato area or anywhere pretty much right along Highway 14, I really want to call you out directly, because this line of severe thunderstorms, that's going to continue to move east along Highway 14. We've seen it pretty much hold its act together as we've gone through the last hour, and I'm not seeing any signs of it weakening at the moment yet. I want to turn lightning on really quick, so it's going to look potentially a little messy. No, all right, so not a ton of light. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we've got quite a bit of lightning showing up in this storm as well. The more lightning we see, that's going to be signs that this storm continues to strengthen. So I'm watching that. One of the other things I want to highlight for you is just how quickly we go from essentially nothing to very heavy rain. When you see it very quickly go from the green to the yellows, oranges, and reds, that's an indicator that there are going to be some strong winds within this line of thunderstorms. Those thunderstorms are over Tremont, Odin, St. James, Hanska, New Ulm now, but Highway 169 is next. I think the core of this pass is just south of Le Sueur. But those severe thunderstorms are going to move towards St. Peter, and then eventually Mankato, Vernon Center, and Winnebago as well. So again, this line of severe thunderstorms that I'm tracking, I'm going to put the tracker on it one more time. This line is moving east at about 45 to 50 miles per hour or so. And a lot of these communities, it could be arriving here within the next couple of minutes. Janesville, this could be there by 4:43. Mapleton again at 4:38, and then Mankato here within about the next 10 minutes or so. A severe thunderstorm's moving in. We know it has at least 60-mile-per-hour winds with it, but at times the radar has shown winds upwards of 70 miles per hour or so too. So, well, again, we're triaging things, Matt, as if it's an ER. Of course, someone who maybe comes in with a stomach ache, you're going to have to take the back seat to someone who maybe comes in with a severe arm or head injury. And in this case, a tornado warning, that is going to take precedence. Of course, the promise today is to leave no one out to dry. So we, of course, want to let the folks know about the severe thunderstorm warnings, but the tornado warning that we have been tracking to our north, that continues to take precedence right now. Some folks are going to need to go ahead and seek shelter, get into that lowest level of your home, interior room, away from windows, and what you want to do is put as many walls between you and the outside. Now, we don't necessarily know if there's a tornado on the ground yet, but of course, we're going to follow this and give you all the newest information as we have it. Matt Surrey, you've been tracking this tornado warning since it was first issued. What new updates do you have now?
Well, Chris, is heading toward the I-94 corridor, and that's concerning because even if we haven't had any reports of a tornado with this, the fact that we have rotation approaching a major road like this could cause a lot of issues. So if you know anyone driving anywhere between Clearwater and St. Augusta right now, they said, oh, hey, I'm heading into or out of the cities, give them a call real quick because they could be seeing that purple that you see here approaching I-94. That's a hail core. It's also very heavy rainfall. But as we switch over to radar velocity, the wind speeds, again, we still have this rotation here approaching I-94, and that's concerning. So it's always a good reminder, if you're in a car, when you see something like this, pull off. Find a safe building to pull into. Don't sit under an overpass. Please do not sit under an overpass when you have heavy rain or hail falling on your car as you're driving, because that just causes more issues than is necessary. But that rotation's approaching I-94. I continue to check reports. The Stearns County Emergency Manager has been very, very communicative with this storm. They have not heard of any reports of damage with this storm. That is fantastic. Just a couple of pea-sized hail reports, or pardon me, half-inch hail report in St. Augusta as the storm moved through the St. Augusta area just about 10 minutes ago. Now, we're getting toward the end of this warning. This warning goes until 4:15 here for southeastern and eastern Stearns County. National Weather Service has yet to decide if they're going to issue a new one farther downstream. Remember, Clearwater, Clear Lake, I gave you the heads up about 10 minutes ago. That rotation is heading toward you. If you want to be proactive and treat this like you need to take shelter, great. If you get into your safe spot and you keep watching our coverage, that's exactly what we want you to do. We want people to be proactive and safe on days like this. Still waiting to hear if they're going to be issuing any new warnings downstream with this, but we want to keep an eye on that thunderstorm. Now, just also issued a new severe thunderstorm warning off to our north, and let me put some information on that one as well. This is for Benton, Morrison, and extreme northern Stearns County until 4:45. You got 1-inch hail there, 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's just south of Little Falls. You can see they're focusing on, even though this entire warning is kind of full of heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning, it's really the southwestern parts of this storm that they're focusing on here. So let's zoom in on that. Let's take it apart, see what they're seeing there. Just north of the Brockway area, right along Highway 10, probably a little bit of a hail core there. I'll switch over to our hail mode, see what we can see. And yeah, maybe some pea-sized hail. Let's take a look at the wind speeds. Maybe the winds are looking a little more potent with this. Not too much. Nothing's screaming at me on the radar. And they're just, the Weather Service is talking about this. They're saying that there has been rotation with this in the past. They've seen a little bit of a lowering cloud base, maybe a little bit of rotation with it. Looking at the radar wind speeds, remember I was just showing you that storm in eastern Stearns County. The red and the green, they were really bright and really close to each other. I'm not seeing that with this storm. Mainly southern Morrison County and just north of the Rice area there along Highway 10. That's where the Weather Service is kind of watching for potentially a little bit of rotation. Not seeing a lot of it on the radar, which is great. If we continue to see these storms somehow not rotate, I am absolutely okay with that. But we have that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, I'll put the information back up here real quick. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Benton, that's extreme northern Benton, southern Morrison, and northeastern Stearns County until 4:45 for 60-mile-an-hour winds. I'll take that one off of there. For 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail. And you can see it's radar indicated for both of those. And the hail core is just crossing over Highway 10 there. This is likely going to go south of the Piers area. So keep an eye on this if you are in Morrison County. Let's go back down to the south. And as I just say that, there's the new tornado warning that they're issuing for parts of Stearns. Clips a little more of Wright County, and it includes parts of Sherburne County as well. Let's get the latest information on that warning as it just popped in. Benton, Sherburne, Stearns, and extreme northern Wright County until 4:45. Once again, radar indicated. That means we're not seeing any confirmed reports of a tornado or a funnel cloud with this storm. And in addition, crossing over I-94 right now, it can produce 1.25 inch hail, so about the size of a $50. Let's take a look at the radar wind speeds with this, the reason why they are issuing this warning. And once again, crossing right over I-94 right now. If anyone in the booth possibly wants to keep an eye on MnDOT cameras along I-94 there, just to the southwest of Clear Lake, we can kind of see what this storm is doing. Let me know if you can see anything there. But there's the rotation that's prompted this new this new tornado warning to be issued farther to the northeast. Let's put a track on this. I'll let you know which communities need to take shelter with this storm as it moves off to the north and east. I'm going to keep it on the southern part of this polygon here because things have been kind of airing on the south side. Clearwater, 418, Clear Lake, 422, Palmer, 429, and Santiago by 436. That's where you need to be in your tornado safe places. Remember, lowest floor of whatever building you're in. If you have a basement, that's great. If you're in a mobile home or a manufactured home, find your nearest sturdy shelter, a site-built home to ride out one of these storms. Clearwater, you're going to be needing to be there probably within the next minute or so, so I hope you're headed for the basement. Clear Lake, you still have about 5 minutes or so. In Palmer, you have about 15 minutes or so before this rotation reaches you. This is still the only tornado warning that we have across Minnesota and Wisconsin. Here's a wide view. You can see that there are the storms as they approach the Twin Cities. We have that one severe thunderstorm warning north of St. Cloud, the tornado warning south of St. Cloud. So St. Cloud, you've managed to dodge a couple of bullets there. And then toward Mankato and Fairmont, that southern severe thunderstorm warning continues to move to the east as we go through this afternoon. So things are lining up that they're going to be approaching the Twin Cities here as we approach the evening commute and as we approach dinner time. Meteorologist Chris Weiss, what are you seeing with these other storms?
Yeah, just wanted to talk about those storms to the south for a moment. Thank you so much for resetting there. Of course, we've talked about the radar, a couple different zones we're watching, the tornado warning to our north, and then those stronger thunderstorms that we are tracking to our south at the moment. I want to give an update now because the strongest of the storm that's starting to move pretty much right into Mankato as we speak. It's right over Nicollet, it's right over Lake Crystal, but you get toward Le Sueur, St. Peter, Mankato, and you now really start to see that it's getting ready to close into town. But I've wanted to look at some of the radar winds with this because I've highlighted a couple areas that I've been watching, and some of these areas I'm going to draw here pretty much right in here. This is where I continue to see wind gusts right along Highway 60, approaching 70 miles per hour or so. These wind gusts are going to continue to move toward the east at 45 to 50 miles per hour. So I want to do a tracker from where I'm seeing some of those stronger winds, and just to show you how quickly some of these stronger winds begin to move into some of our communities here. So let me clear everything. One moment, because all of that's popping up. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I know the winds are right here. I want to give you that information first. We're going to move this eastward, and really, I'm going to have to zoom out even more. We need quite a bit of real estate because these storms are moving pretty fast. So let's clear this out one more time here. I'm going to clear it all, and we look at what's coming our way. So I'm going to draw it in. Right here is where those winds are approaching right around 70 miles per hour, moving eastward at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. And in good thunder, you could see upwards of 70 mile per hour winds here within the next 10 to 11 minutes. So 4:30 arrival time for good thunder. And boy, strong winds begin to move at 4:33. Mapleton at 4:40. Pemberton at 4:48. Minnesota Lake at 4:56. 5:06 in Otisco and 5:15 in New Richland if this holds together. Again, this is not the tornado warned storm. These are the severe thunderstorm warnings that we are tracking, but they have strong winds. Winds of 70 miles per hour, straight line winds are still damaging winds. We could still see tree limbs coming down. We could start to see some damaging winds there as well. One of the things I've been told is we've got team coverage for you guys. This is a day that we did not take lightly. I do want to let you know that. And so we have been planning, and meteorologist Jonathan Uhas has been out as well following these thunderstorms. So Jonathan, I know that you're out with one of our photojournalists right now. What are you seeing at the moment, Jonathan?
All right, thanks, Chris. Todd, Ron, and I are out right now, and I'm going to flip the screen over. This is what's coming toward the Twin Cities, and this is a new developing cell. This is the severe thunderstorm warning that is just to our west. We're in Le Sueur, or just east of Le Sueur, looking to the west. So you can see a very ominous, low, what is changing very quickly sky, and this is an area that is becoming more favorable for tornado formation. That has not happened yet. But this area, there's stronger ingredients here coming together where we are. It's 73 degrees right here. Dew point's about 67. There's the potential for these to produce tornadoes at any time, and this is the activity that is moving toward the Twin Cities, what you're seeing on your screen right now. We have just seen this really develop in the last probably 5 minutes, and as you can see on your TV screen, how much the sky is changing here as you watch it. And when you look for tornadoes, you look for that backlighting, that yellow area. And that's what we are seeing right now, really developing too, which would be a signal of a lot of different air really circulating around. Counterclockwise circulating air is what we look for tornadoes. And when that counterclockwise circulating air is occurring, you start seeing some just bizarre, that look like they're off Mars type clouds. And that's what I can tell you it looks like we're seeing right now. So if you guys are seeing this, then you can see what I'm talking about. You can see a lot of low scud here that is moving. It's moving northeast. Not seeing any rising scud. Rising scud would be indicative of a tornado, but this is the activity that'll be moving into the Twin Cities. This right now is southwest of Scott County by about 23 miles and heading toward Scott County. So you do anticipate more warnings to occur as this moves further to the northeast. It's had radar indicated winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour. So this is the leading edge of it. A tornado would be on the back edge of it, but we were watching it real closely here. We expect this area to become a lot more active in the next half hour. It's actually more favorable now for tornadoes to be east of Highway 169 as opposed to west of 169. So this area is becoming highlighted now, not only by the weather itself, but even the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted this area for the potential for strong tornadoes. And again, I just want to point out these scud clouds. You can just see some really low scud clouds that are changing abruptly. So you know that the air is very unstable there and violent, and that's what's happening is heat thermals from the ground are moving upward and cooling quickly, and they form into those clouds. But sometimes this is what you see before the development of tornadoes. This is kind of what you look for, is rising scud clouds like this. So we're going to keep our eye on this. The lightning's picking up. That's a signal too that the storm is getting higher in height. So this is heading toward the Twin Cities. This will be the storm that moves into the Twin Cities fairly shortly, as you guys can probably see on your radar. It is going to be in northeastern Nicollet County right now and Le Sueur County as we speak. That's where we are, and then moving toward the Twin Cities here. And, you know, it's really got some very interesting details to it. If you look real closely, you can see straight ahead, if you look straight, the tallest cloud there, and I'm not talking about the one on the right, I'm talking about the one on the left here. It is really starting to pick up in development, meaning that there's a really good surge of moisture sitting there. And this is, again, the kind of stuff we look for with storms that are going to be severe and storms that are going to have tornado, this rising scud that we see. So we're watching that. It's literally, you know, the storm is probably 3 miles away from us. So we're going to sit here and we're going to sit here and watch this and keep watching this. Again, I'll repeat, we're in Le Sueur. This is the storm headed toward the Twin Cities. Probably be in Scott County within a half hour or less. You can show it on radar. It's severe storm warned right now, and it is moving to the northeast, I believe, Chris, at about 40 miles per hour.
At 45 to 50 miles per hour to the north and east. So you're pretty much right in that zone. Jonathan, thank you so much. Again, I just want to take an opportunity to reset with everything that we are tracking, because now we're starting to get into a situation where, again, we have multiple different warnings that we are looking at. You have one warning to the north of the tornado warning. Then you have a new tornado warning, actually, that has just formed right around Fairmont. So, Matt, I'm going to stick with this really quickly just to talk about that tornado warning and see if I can't get some details on it. So let's clear things up for just the tornado warning here. This is for Blue Earth, Faribault, and Martin counties. This is an observed tornado. That is the source here. So an observed tornado does mean that there's a possibility that this tornado has been spotted. And I'm just going to zoom in and on here. This is right around Ceylon, moving toward Fairmont, and that'll continue toward the north and east toward Amboy and Winnebago. So let's investigate this a little bit. Just look at radar wind. If there's rotation, it's pretty much going to be right in here. So your green winds are kind of what's blowing toward the radar. And then you have this kind of bluish color, that would be what's blowing away. But if there's rotation, that's going to be pretty much right in here. I'm going to investigate this a little bit more, but we're getting reports here of an observed tornado that's going to move toward the north and east. I'm going to get a little bit more information on this, but Matt, you've been tracking a tornado warning for a minute here to our north, a little bit closer to the metro. I want you to take that away while I get some deeper information on this one, and you might have something to say on this one too. So yeah, what are you watching here?
So I have a track on this one. So if you're in the Fairmont area, if you're watching us from there, you got to get into a tornado safe spot, because this is just about 10 to 15 minutes away. And again, this is a confirmed tornado. The National Weather Service says someone is reporting a tornado with this storm. So Fairmont, it'll be by you by 4:30, Northrop 4:47, Grenada by 4:49, Winnebago by 5:03. So it's just about crossing the I-90 corridor here by about 4:40. So especially if you are in the Fairmont area, if you're north of Ceylon, you need to be in your tornado safe spot right now, because the National Weather Service is reporting a confirmed tornado with this. As Chris was just mentioning, though, this does not look like a tornado producing storm. It doesn't have that classic look to it, but there might be a little bit of a hook with this storm, and we've been saying it all day. We have the right ingredients for these storms to rotate very quickly, so please take this report seriously. If you live around Fairmont, now's the time to put your safety plan into action. You want to get into a building, get into the lowest floor of whatever that building is. Basements are great. And remember, stay away from windows, put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. If you have an exposed basement and you can get into a little closet or maybe underneath the staircase away from that exposed wall, that's exactly what you want to do. But this is the first confirmed tornado that we've had with this storm. Just double checking to see if they put out any additional reports with this, because again, it doesn't look the most impressive. I see, Chris, you have the radar velocity over there. Are the winds looking any more impressive with
That's what I was going to say. It does not look super impressive in terms of rotation, Matt, but I've been able to use lightning using my phone here to try to figure out where the core of that rotation is. And that's pretty much moving right along Highway 263 now. So if we could take this full screen in the control room, I just want to focus in on some of these areas and get down to the street level as if I can. But pretty much Highway 263, right between Ceylon and Welcome, that's going to be the area where we would see rotation. So the rotating thunderstorms pretty much right in here. Now, that is going to continue to move toward the north and east at 60 miles per hour. So this storm is moving quickly. Let me zoom all the way out here. You have the entire tornado warning there. This is moving north and east at 60 miles per hour. So we're going to put the tracker on here. Give me 1 second just to make sure all the timing is accurate. That is north and east at 60 miles per hour. So let me slow this down. And we are looking at, if this continues to hold together, the rotation would arrive at Welcome here within about the next 5 minutes. I think it passes really just south of Welcome from what I'm seeing. But then Fairmont at 4:38, 4:42 for Northrop, Grenada at 4:44, Truman at 4:47, Winnebago at 4:55, Amboy at 4:59, and then Vernon Center, again, if this holds together, by 5:02. But again, I really want everyone who's potentially in the path of this storm to go ahead and head to your safe place. This is going to be the lowest level of your home. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So we want as many walls between you and the outside, someplace like a stairwell, a hallway, or the best place, of course, being a basement underneath the stairs. We're getting ready to start our 4:30 newscast. Of course, Paul and Leah have been with us as well. They have been watching for updates. Paul and Leah, they're right here in the studio, and we're going right into team coverage as we speak. Paul and Leah, what have you all been able to see so far?
All right, thank you, Chris. Yes, you're watching breaking news coverage here on 5 Eyewitness News. I'm Paul Folger. It is 4:30. We've been tracking this all afternoon. Of course, we saw it come your way, and it just continues to ramp up this afternoon.
It certainly does. We have Chris Reese here. We have Matt Surrey with us. We have crews out as well. Jonathan Uhas is on the road watching these storms.